What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of MUT Tips. I'm your host, Sean Taylor from the Made Up Theater, and before we jump in, make sure to like the video down below, comment with something you would like addressed in a future video, and as always, subscribe on YouTube to be informed of upcoming videos. But without further ado, let's jump into today's topic, creating an improv wrestling character. I mentioned in the last video how professional wrestling has a lot of improv in it, both in the in-ring action as well in the outside of the ring action, like the promos, the interactions with other wrestlers on the microphone. And there's a lot of fun to be had with these characters because they're just so big and very specific, you know? I even had my cast do a wrestling show one time, an improvised wrestling show without the wrestling. And it was a challenge because they had to commit to a character for like 90 minutes, which is really fun for them too. And it's something I want to return to in the future. And we're gonna create some wrestling characters today. And stick around till the end of the video because I have a little contest that you can participate in and test out your wrestling character. But let's jump into how to create them. When I had my cast do a wrestling show, the only thing I gave them was their alignment. And from there, they created the rest. And the alignment essentially is, on both sides of the spectrum, there's either the face, which is, the hero of the story, the good guy, all right? And the other side of the spectrum is going to be the heel, who is the villain, the antagonist of the story. And wrestlers also can play both sides. Usually throughout their career, they do play the heel and the face. And it's initiated with what's called a turn, where they actually change in a specific moment in the show. So let's look at 3 different characters and how they embrace both the baby face and the heel personas. Let's start with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, a very well-known Hollywood actor who got his roots started in professional wrestling. And when he started, he was Rocky Maivia, a very, likable face character. He had a big white smile, curly, goofy hair, and, he had like a very eccentric blue outfit, with streamers and stuff. But as he played this character for a while, the audience started to reject him. They didn't see him as being very authentic or honest to himself. They would shout like, "Die, Rocky, die," or "Rocky sucks." And it was just like, whoa, that was really big rejection from the audience, but it helped initiate his heel turn when he became a bad guy. And when he embraced this role, that's where his charisma came from. Yeah, try being antagonistic characters, not just in wrestling, but also in improv scenes, be a bad person because that helps you develop charisma because you're not trying to get cheers or laughs, you're trying to get the boos, right? You want the audience to hate you. And I think that helps a lot with confidence. And a few other quick ones. There's Daniel Bryan, who's kind of like the smaller underdog character who the audience got behind even though the company wasn't booking him and putting him in the spotlight. And since the audience got behind him, he had a great WrestleMania moment where he became champion. And there's also his heel character that he got too, where he became kind of an environmentalist, vegan, who, I know that sounds kind of like a face character because he was trying to promote keep the planet alive. But he sold it in a very heel way. He was cocky, arrogant, narcissistic, he knew everything, very high status. So he sold it that way. There was Bayley too, just a very likable female wrestler who hugged children. She had these wacky waving and inflatable arm flailing tube men who kind of came out with her as she made her entrance, very cheery music. And then she embraced a heel persona at some point where literally the first thing she did was stab those inflatable guys and brought them down and dyed her hair black. And it was just kind of an interesting twist on that character. So figure out your alignment. There's benefit in both sides, but start there and then let's progress to the next thing. Now let's get into the name, your identity, A lot of times the name helps inform the personality. And a great medium for professional wrestling is watching on Netflix the TV show Glow, where there's a lot of very diverse female wrestlers. There's the American Patriots, Liberty Bell. There's the Russian antagonist, Zoya the Destroyer. There's the self-dubbed smartest woman in the world, Britannica. And there's the animalistic she-wolf. They have these very vibrant names that suit their character as well. And, way back in the 80s, for example, a lot of the characters in wrestling were kind of a little cliche, kind of embracing stereotypes. And that's kind of what Glow did too, because it's kind of going back to the 80s, but it still creates very fun characters. So don't worry about being, cliche. Just embrace something and see if you can attack it and make it your own. Like in the 80s, there was a wrestler who was like a taxman character called Erwin R. Shyster, IRS, right? There was a Repo Man character. So there's a bunch of like absurd characters, but it was just something the audience could just quickly identify and know whether they want to cheer or boo for that person. So get your name down and then move on to the next thing. Once you have your name, delve into your identity more and just answer some questions like, what do you want? What's your motivation, you know? Do you want to like just become the best wrestler in the world? Do you want to win all the championship belts just so you can make a lot of money? Do you want to like, take down like the authority and just like, prove yourself? There's a lot of different ways you can go about it. Like an interesting character is Kevin Owens. When he started a specific character, he had a motivation of he wanted to just make money for his family, okay? But he became a heel character because he didn't care about what the fans thought. He just wanted to support who he actually loves, his family. But he came across as like a heel thing. There's also Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, his motivation was he just wanted to like wreak havoc on the authority and bring down the boss, which a lot of people connected to back in the day, right? So figure out like who you are. Like a good way to think about this is describe your character in like 30 seconds. Just describe it. Don't worry about like being the character. Just describe it. You can write it down and just get to some spots. Again, what do you want? What's your view on life, You can get into your alignment a little bit more, kind of like, how D&D characters are. You can be like lawful good baby face, or you could be chaotic good baby face. Break all the rules, you're a rebel. Or lawful evil, You're like that character who like maybe is connected to like the owners of the company or something. Or chaotic evil, you don't give a shit about no one. You just want to win and just break everyone's bones, Or anything in between. Figure that out. Develop your character synopsis. Next is the music. When a wrestler comes out, the first thing they hear is the wrestler's music, their entrance music. And this can help, again, set the tone for what type of character your wrestler is, right? So a few examples of this, I won't play them obviously because copyright issues, but like this guy right here, his name is Samoa Joe. Just look at him, And then go to this link down below in the description and just listen to that song. Just listen to it for a little bit. It's got like this, marching sound to it. It just sounds big. It's got like a tuba sound. It just like feels like a monster is about to come into the room right now, okay? So if you wanna play around with music, I recommend doing just like some royalty-free music. So rather than just going to like get like an AC/DC song or a Metallica song, try to get like some music that you haven't heard before that you wanna actually connect to your wrestling character, okay? So again, once you figure out who you are, go to YouTube Audio Library, okay? And maybe there's a few like filters in there as well. Like you can choose what type of like, genre the music is and what type of mood it is, Pick a few of those things and listen to a few and just try to see if you can connect with one. And then once you have a song, like walk around as a character to that song. And this also leads to another thing, like strike a pose. It's almost like a choreographed dance when they come out to the ring. And at a point, they usually do like some type of like pose or motion that the audience remembers. Like The Rock had that type of thing, Randy Orton has that type of thing. So play around with that, Treat it like almost like a dance before you get to the fight. And one more thing, your tagline. Just like the commentators, they have like a tagline, like Mamma Mia, all that stuff, right? But now put a tagline into your wrestler. Every wrestler has a tagline because this tagline, their catchphrase, they're gonna put it on t-shirts and sell it, right? It's gotta be marketable. So like, The Rock, he always ended every one of his promos with his catchphrase. When I say, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, or Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so, That was on t-shirts, everyone wanted to buy it, everyone quoted it. And like when the wrestler said that in the ring, they'd either cheer really loud or say it with them really loud if they were a face, or they'd boo really loud if that person was a heel. So come up with a tagline that just kind of matches your character's demeanor, because ultimately it's a great exclamation point to your promo. Let's get into the competition.
Epic Promo Challenge.
This is a competition I'd love to see you try out, okay? It's not gonna require a lot of work, but it's a great way to practice what I've taught you here today. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna record what's called a wrestling promo on video. It could be on your iPhone, on your laptop, whatever you want. You do you, okay? And in your wrestling promo, try to like, do all those things. Like have a name, have an alignment, have a want, motivation. You can have some music playing in the background. Just make sure it's not, copyright because I might play it on the next one if you win. And do 1 minute promo, a 1 minute promo, okay? A promo is essentially when the wrestler is addressing the audience, you know, you in your living room when you're watching them, they're addressing you. They sometimes address their opponents as well. They have an audience that they're talking to, okay? And I want you to sell your character in 1 minute. Sell your motivation, what you want. You can address maybe another wrestler. You can address the fans, you know, what you're fighting for or why you're fighting against them. Just within a minute, be that character. Have a distinct personality and sell yourself, essentially, in this competition, okay?
To give you an example, my good friend Bobby August Jr. recorded 2 promo examples, one as a face and one as a heel. With your promo submission, you can go up to a minute, so just look at this as an example. I've also included a few other examples in the description.
Hey boys and girls, it's me, BJ Bright. How did I get so bright? Because I stayed in school. Education is the most important asset that you can have for the rest of your lives. Remember that if you want to be BJ Bright, stay in school. Hey all you cuties out there, it's me, Hollywood Knights. Every opponent I face, I pin him as quick as possible, and then I go home and date his daughter. Ha ha! Hollywood Knights! Yeah!
I'll put more information in the description down below, but you're gonna send me an email with a 60-second video promo with your wrestling character. You're free to do whatever you want in that 60 seconds. Just sell your character to me. Convince me that you are becoming this character. And I'll give you until November 2nd to submit, okay? November 2nd, and then probably like a week later, I'll announce the winner, and that winner will be shown on our MUT Tips, and also you'll get a little Amazon gift card, okay? That'll be pretty awesome. So let me see what you got, everybody. I'd love to see it, okay? Let me know if you have any questions about this competition. I'd love to help, but try it out. And that could close this episode of MUT Tips, everybody. Thank you so much for checking it out. I can't wait to see your submissions. Go to madeuptheater.com for information about our shows and classes. Everything is online right now, so you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Also, use the promo code MUTTIPS to get a $5 ticket to check out our online shows Saturday nights at 8 o'clock. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next time for another episode of MUT Tips. Bye.